Introducing the all-new Corolla.
It started with opening statements. First was prosecutor Gerald Henderson.
The defendant won the fight. And after the fight was over, he murdered Anthony.
Gargarita is facing aggravated murder and assault charges after the two got into a scuffle in June 15 last year. It happened in the parking lot of the K&C building in Tumon.
Anthony rolled over onto his stomach to try to get up and crawl. The defendant got him into a chokehold with Anthony's head right here. And he compressed on both sides of his throat, cutting off the oxygen supply to his brain.
Everyone has their version of events.
Defense attorney Peter Sablon did not dispute many of the facts. However, he pointed out that it was GIRALAO who provoked the fight, charging at Gargarita. Sablon acknowledged that the two fought, but he said Gargarita put GIRALAO in a chokehold in self-defense.
Carl eventually puts his arm around Anthony's neck. He holds it there until he felt safe enough to let go.
Both sides acknowledged that the two had fought over a girl, Irene GIRALAO, the wife of Anthony. The defense says Irene and Gargarita had gone out on the night of June 14 with some friends at a bar across the street. The two went into Irene's car and had sex. After they were done, Sablon says Anthony GIRALAO called his wife's phone, but Gargarita answered it. This angered Irene, who attempted to leave. She walked across the street to the K&C building, but Gargarita refused to let her drive because she was inebriated. Sablon says Gargarita thought that Irene had called her uncle to pick her up, so he waited at the parking lot with her. This was verified by a witness to the fight, Kylie Heron, who says she drove into the K&C parking lot and saw a woman lying on the ground. Concerned, Heron and her friends stayed at the parking lot until Irene's ride would come. About 30 minutes later, Heron said that's when Anthony arrived in a Toyota 4Runner.
What did Carl do?
Really, he just kind of stood there at first. We all kind of stunned. The guy just kind of came out of nowhere, skidded to a stop, and just no explanation or anything.
Can you tell me who threw the first punch?
He did.
Who's he?
The other man, not Carl.
Heron says the fight later went to the ground with Gargarita on top of Anthony, who was also face down. Next,
Arm around, hands like this. Hands were around the neck.
Could you just keep your hands in that position for a second and let the record reflect you basically have your left hand is up by right of your shoulder, right of your chin.
After Anthony passed out, Heron says Gargarita continued the chokehold even after Heron yelled at him to let go. When he wouldn't, Heron said she pried Gargarita's arm loose off of Anthony's neck. She estimated that Gargarita held his arm there for a couple minutes. Moments later, Heron, a CPR instructor, tried to save Anthony's life.
I could hear hissing, gurgling. You could tell he wasn't taking full normal breaths. So.
Police later arrived, which disrupted CPR for about 30 seconds as the police officer tried to intervene.
He pulled me off of him and said, "What do you?" He's not so nice words.
You're under oath.
Okay, get the hell off of him. What are you doing? It wasn't very nice. And get out of here. You know, go sit over there. So I said, "We're giving CPR. This guy's not breathing right. He was in a fight. Either I'll keep doing it or you can do it." And I remember him saying, "Oh, I'll do it." You know, the cop actually he straddled the body and bent from the waist and tried doing compressions, and that's not how you're supposed to do it at all. So I got very upset with him, and then not so colorful words, tell him to get the guy because I'm going to continue doing it the right way.
So